Sometimes the best way to understand ourselves isn't through, like, complex theories, but through stories. Stories we already know, maybe even love.
Absolutely. Like myths, legends, even comic books, surprisingly. It's fascinating how looking at them in a new way can unlock things.
Yeah, they stop being just stories and start reflecting,
Yeah.
well, us, our own struggles, our potential.
Exactly. And that's really what we're diving into today. We're exploring this really unique approach to self-discovery.
Right, it's from a book called A Superhero Within, Awaken Your Feminine Power by Eirwen. And it uses, get this, female superheroes from Marvel and DC as guides.
Mm-hmm. The basic idea is pretty cool. The author looks at these iconic women like Captain Marvel, Wonder Woman, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, loads of them.
The big names.
Yeah, the big ones. And she connects their stories, their transformations, their characters to 12 different female archetypes.
So the whole point is using these heroes we recognize to kind of understand ourselves better and find our own inner strengths.
Precisely. It's like exploring resilience by looking at, say, Gamora or intuition through Mantis. It makes these big ideas feel more tangible.
I like that. So we've got excerpts from the book itself, which gives us a good look at how it's put together and, how you actually use it.
Yeah, and one of the first things you notice is the structure. It's flexible. Really flexible, actually.
How so?
Well, it's got this dual approach. You can follow it like a program, a 12-week journey.
Got like one chapter, one theme each week.
Yeah.
A deep dive over time.
Exactly. If you want that structured path, it's there. Covers everything.
There's a but, I sense.
But, and this is what I think is really useful, you can also just dive in.
Yeah.
Right where you need it.
Ah, okay. So if something specific is going on for you now,
You just flip to that chapter. The book's designed for it.
that makes so much sense. Life doesn't follow a 12-week plan, does it?
Not usually, no. So the source material gives examples, right? Like if you're finding it hard to let go of something in the past, you go straight to chapter 9, The Art of Letting Go. You don't need to read the first 8 chapters first.
Or like maybe you need a conference boost, big presentation coming up, something like that.
Then you check out chapter 3, Inner Confidence, Instant Focus,
Feeling disconnected.
Isolated.
Chapter 5, Unity with the Universe. It's designed to be responsive.
I really appreciate that immediate applicability. It feels very practical.
It does. And beyond just how you read it, there are these interactive tools built in to help you engage with it more directly.
Tools. Like what?
Well, there's the which archetype are you test. It's a quick quiz, just 10 questions.
Okay, and that tells you which superheroine archetype you lean towards.
Sort of, yeah, based on how you answer. It links you to archetypes like the Sage, embodied by Black Widow, or the Empath, like Mantis.
Mm-hmm. Scarlet Witch is the visionary, Wonder Woman the warrior, Spectrum the explorer. Those are the ones mentioned.
Exactly. It gives you a starting point, a lens to see your strengths or maybe areas you want to explore.
And it's okay if you don't fit neatly into one box. Definitely. The book actually points that out. You might score high in a couple of areas. You might be a mix.
Like a sage with empath tendencies.
Precisely. It's not about labeling, more about understanding the different facets of your own power, which feels much more realistic, doesn't it?
Yeah, much more. We're complex. Okay, what other tools?
There's also something called the superpower map.
Superpower map. Sounds intriguing.
It's basically a self-assessment. You use a scale like 1 to 10 to rate yourself on the different superpowers the book covers.
So things like self-acceptance, creative flow, inner confidence, the chapter themes.
Exactly. You mark where you feel you are right now at the start. It gives you a baseline.
And then you reassess later.
Yeah. Maybe after working through a chapter, or if you do the whole 12 weeks, you do it again at the end.
Ah, so you can actually see the progress. See how working on this stuff has maybe shifted things for you.
Right. It makes the growth feel more concrete, less abstract. You can track the shift in your inner superpowers.
Okay, so you've got this flexible structure, these tools to get you started. What happens inside a chapter? What's the approach?
Each chapter follows a pretty consistent pattern. It's quite multifaceted, blending different elements.
Yep.
So, first up, you get the hero spotlight.
Right, focusing on one specific superheroine.
Yeah. And it connects her story, her challenges, her growth, her big moments to the main theme, the transformation essence of that chapter.
Gotcha. So not just who she is, but her journey.
Exactly. Like the sources mention Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force.
Yes.
That's a huge transformation story about power and integration. Or Jessica Cruz.
The Green Lantern.
Yeah, her powers are tied to overcoming anxiety and fear, using imagination. It shows vulnerability becoming strength. They aren't static figures.
Makes sense. Then what?
Then it clearly lays out the archetype and feminine superpower for that chapter, gives it a name.
Like you said, Black Widow is the sage.
Yeah.
And her power is adaptability, strategy.
Spot on. And then there's a key lesson, like a really concise takeaway message.
Oh, like the one for inner confidence. That was good.
Yeah, true confidence isn't the absence of doubts. It's the courage to act despite them. Powerful, right? Just that one sentence.
It really is. It reframes it completely.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the heroes, is it? The author brings herself into it, too.
Yes, absolutely. That's a huge part. Each chapter has the author's transformation stories.
Personal stories.
Yeah, personal anecdotes, very open, often quite vulnerable, about her own struggles and breakthroughs related to that chapter's superpower.
Can you give an example?
Maybe her journey accepting that she had lots of different creative interests, not just one path, or deciding to leave journalism, a secure job, to become a writer, trusting her intuition.
Ah, okay. So it makes the concepts feel grounded, lived in, not just theoretical.
Exactly. It shows the real, sometimes messy process of growth. And then, to back it up, there's the psychological angle.
Right, the psychologist's insight.
It brings in ideas from well-known psychologists and researchers. People like Dr. Kristen Neff on self-compassion, Dr. Susan David on emotional agility, Dr. Gary Klein on intuition, Dr. Dan Siegel on integration. Experts in relevant fields.
So it adds that layer of credibility, explains the why.
Precisely. It gives you the research-based perspective on why these practices actually work.
So it's not just accept yourself,
It might explain how self-acceptance activates your body's relaxation response, connecting it to physiology, or how intuition isn't magic, but often rapid pattern recognition based on experience.
Okay, so you understand the mechanics behind it. That's useful.
It really adds depth. And then, crucially, it gives you things to do, the practical exercises.
Right, the hands-on stuff, moving from theory to action.
Exactly. These are activities designed to help you actively cultivate these superpowers yourself.
Like what kind of activities? Are they complicated?
Not necessarily. The sources mention things like an observation challenge for self-acceptance, probably mindfulness-based, just noticing thoughts without judgment. Or a release ritual for letting go. Could be writing things down and burning them, A symbolic act.
Consents, concrete actions.
Yeah. And each chapter wraps up with reflection questions, prompts for journaling, and suggestions for weekly practice, little things to integrate into your routine.
So it keeps it going beyond just reading the chapter.
Right, makes it an ongoing practice. But there's one more feature that sounds particularly unique.
What's that?
The affirmations. They're described as poetic affirmations.
Poetic affirmations. How are they different?
The description used is that they speak like poems and feel like spells. So more lyrical, more evocative than your standard I am confident type of thing.
Okay, interesting.
But here's the really cool part. There are QR codes in the book.
QR codes? For what?
They link to musical versions of the affirmations.
Whoa, really? Affirmations set to music?
Yeah. The idea is to make it a deeper, more immersive practice. You don't just read it, you listen, maybe move with it, let the music help you embody the feeling.
That's actually a brilliant idea, making it multisensory.
We actually have a little piece of one from Embracing the Self. Want to share it?
Yeah, let's hear it. I'll start. Reading. I accept myself both truth and myth, and each scar and spark I journey with.
Reading. A kaleidoscope of moods and thoughts. I'm more than what the world has caught.
Reading. I don't pursue a flawless scheme. I move between the real and dream.
Reading. I flow like water, calm or wild. All parts of me both fierce and mild.
Reading. I built a space where I can grow, where all my shades are free to show.
Reading. I'm changing gently, day by day. Each part of me still finds its way.
Wow. Okay. Hearing it like that, yeah, it feels different. More like embracing the whole messy picture, maybe. Not just striving for perfection.
Exactly. It captures that complexity, the flow, the integration of all the different parts of you, which is really a core theme.
So let's bring this all together. For you listening right now, what's the takeaway from this deep dive into a superhero within?
Well, I think it offers this really engaging pathway to self-discovery. It's structured, yes, but also super flexible. And it uses these relatable superhero stories to make complex ideas feel accessible.
Right. It gives you tools, the quiz, the map to figure out where you are now, your strengths, maybe your challenges.
And it gives you the why, the psychological insights, plus the how, the practical exercises, the reflection prompts.
Supported by stories, both the epic superhero ones and the author's own real-life experiences. Which makes it feel Less lonely, maybe.
Definitely. And then topped off with these really unique poetic affirmations, even with music, it feels like a very holistic approach.
So it's essentially a guide to finding that heroine inside, learning to draw on your own inner resources.
Yeah, and seeing your own life, your own journey as its own kind of epic story. It's about integrating all the pieces of yourself, even the ones you might not think are super.
That integration point feels key. You mentioned Captain Marvel earlier.
Right, think about her. She has incredible power, obviously, cosmic level stuff. But her real strength, her full potential, comes when she integrates all of it. Her Kree power with her human memories, her emotions, her flaws, her past. It's the combination.
It's the fusion that makes her whole.
Exactly. So maybe a final thought for you to chew on. What part of your own human self, that sensitivity you might hide, or that past mistake you can't shake, or just that quirky trait you think is weird, what if that's actually the key?
The key to unlocking another level of your own inner superpower, integrating the messy human bits with the potential.
Maybe. It's about seeing strength not just in the shiny parts, but in the whole integrated picture, bringing it all together. That feels like the real journey.